Hello and welcome back to another CommLink Reacts video. I'm Stubb and I'm joined by Silvius. How's it going, man?
What's up, man? I'm doing good.
And today we're going to be taking a look at some more CitizenCon footage. This is going to be the Fix It and Fly It panel, taking a look at engineering gameplay. And I'm pretty excited to check this out. So it's been a lot of fun going through these CitizenCon panels and videos that they've been uploading, and I guess they're going to continue to upload this week. But there's so much information to go through, which is a good problem to have right now with the game.
Yeah, this is your first time seeing this one, right?
Yes. Yep. First
Gotcha.
time.
Okay. Ready to get into it?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Was this? Is this going to be watch number 7 for you?
Not quite. I've only watched the panels once. I did that Squadron 42 video. I couldn't stop watching, but so this will be my second time watching this. Maybe I can digest it a little bit more because it's kind of a lot. So,
all right, let's check it out.
I wish I had a cool name like Thorsten or Guillermo.
Hello.
Yeah, those are cool names.
I'm Thorsten Leimann, lead systems designer for the EUPU team, and welcome to this little presentation of our most ambitious feature that we are working on for quite a while already. We already talked about it several times, but this time it will be a little bit different. So before we start jumping into the presentation, here's a little disclaimer. Everything that you're about to see in this presentation was done by the EUPU team, so, well, mostly. We got help from
Thorsten,
the
don't be
vehicle
nervous.
content team and the VGPU team. So what you will see here is mainly placeholder art that was either done by
So we're going to get some
Guillermo,
gameplay.
Bastien, or me, so members of our team, and it's gameplay that we focus on in this presentation. So what you will notice here is also that the UI is still work in progress, so visual changes even throughout this entire presentation. So we are still iterating. But let's start with the actual presentation.
Here we
Those
go.
that follow us for quite some time probably know about the resource network already, but let's do a brief recap. We will be talking here about our technology, that is resource network, and the engineering gameplay that can be called a child of the resource network. The engineering task will allow you to manage your ships, outposts, and possibly other things. Let's have Guillermo talk about the technology first.
Other
so
things.
welcome on stage, Guillermo.
They've talked about engineering a little bit before in like ISC and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think this kind of goes over it again.
Hi everyone, I'm Guillermo Bilbao, gameplay programmer for this team, and I'm going to talk
Their
about
stage
the
production
resource network.
really is pretty nice.
So, what is the resource network?
Yeah, they're
the main drive for the resource network was
like
replacing
live
the
broadcast stuff really
previous pipe
picked up this
system
year.
You might have heard
Yeah.
about, with a new system that was more generalized, easier to expand, and that will support all the gameplay we actually want to do. And yeah, so it is a network, as you can see on that picture. Showing the connections between different items, even those inside of your containers. And it enables specifically the relay gameplay we're going to show right after. So it will have a global impact. You're going to see it in ships, you're going to see it in outposts. It's built to work with the cargo system in some ways. And as for interacting with it, the engineering gameplay we're showed today is going to be the biggest example, but you will also see it in other places, especially in missions. And let's have Thorsten talk about it a bit more.
I
How
bet
much
you're gonna
gameplay
have
did they end up
people-
showing? Oh, sorry.
A decent amount, but I bet you'll have people that are going to be just
hello again.
engineers.
So as a crew member of a ship or as a person
that
managing an
much to it?
outpost, you have several responsibilities.
I think so.
Where the engineering
Interesting,
topic
okay.
can be split in 3 activities. And you can decide to share those responsibilities or take them all by yourself. It's really up to you. Every task requires their own skills and their own tool sets. There is tuning. Here you are responsible for preparing your ship. Your journey did not start yet, so you adjust your ship items based on your goals for the travels. Exchange sub-items, adjust the default settings of your power plant, basically operations that require you to turn off the items or even remove them from their sockets. The next activity is maintaining, and this is all about damage control and keeping the items in pristine or pristine enough state. You are the mechanic that makes sure that everything is and stays operable. Maybe even go further in the sense of caring for the items. And what caring means is here reducing the wear and tear rate by regularly removing dust or oiling the items, just as some quick examples.
Dude, let's get hyped for dusting
let's actually
gameplay.
show you some of the maintenance you can already do and will be able to do.
Gonna keep a shop vac in every one of my
So here we start
ships.
with 2 gameplay mechanics that are already in the game. So technically nothing new, but the entire engineering loop ties them nicely together. Here you saw me collecting IMC, or still collecting, and now I will take the shield generator of the recently destroyed Gladius to use them as a spare part for myself. So all of this is of course optional. So you can purchase those items already and in the future even assemble them for yourself. So craft.
You can build the parts. Wow. Okay.
While the Fury approaches, you might get the glimpse of a debug UI. So there's the Fury now coming. I activated the debug UI to show you the health state of each item. And what you should have seen is that the shield generator is fully destroyed and the power plant that I'm about to take out now is in low health. Low health means you can still repair it. So which will be happening now with Guillermo and Pete repairing the power plant after I removed it from the Fury. So it's making it fully functional again.
I love how everything in this game is just shoot a beam at it.
And here you see the debug UI, the health
Beam
is now fully
gameplay.
up again, and that
It
means
doesn't
that
look
it
damaged,
runs at,
though.
At full efficiency again.
I'm sure they're gonna do that.
And here
though,
you
right?
also see that the shield generator is at 0 health.
I think so.
So the destroyed shield generator cannot be repaired because it's destroyed. So I have to exchange it with the spare one that I collected from the Gladius.
Like they should make it visibly clear when they're damaged, instead of like, because you're not going to have that UI
all
like
those
that.
repairs being done, the Fury is operatable again, and it can go its way.
Yeah, maybe those assets just aren't done yet. What they were talking about
Probably.
earlier. Yeah. It's cool though, being able to swap out the parts like that.
I think you can do
So
that
getting
already
back to
though.
the responsibilities. A big one
just can't
is
repair them.
managing your ship, which
Right.
includes resources, but also more general aspects. You have to manage the power distribution and come up with informed decisions, like reacting to hazards like malfunctions, fire, low energy, but also calling out items that need repair and maintenance. You will delegate the rest of your crew to keep your ships intact, like giving clear priorities of what needs to be done first. Let's take a look at another video here. So this is the first glimpse of the engineering UI in action. It is still being worked on, so it's heavy work in progress. Let's start with looking at the item view.
Those look cool.
Looks confusing.
So you can see the full setup of the network with the relays, the green dots connecting to each other, and the relays connecting to the items.
It's a lot of relays.
Color and shape
Yeah.
below the icons should help you identify the different item types, like
Surely
power
they'll let
plants,
you filter
weapons.
through this stuff.
Also
too.
helping differentiate between consumer, producer, and
Yeah, there are
converters.
little check boxes on the
You can
left
tell the
side there.
current state of the item. That means the amount of energy it produces,
Yeah, I
consumes,
see
or has
those, but-
stowed. the health state it is in,
Also
the
to
current
the
wear
left
and
of where it
tear on
says
the
items,
item, and the current state it runs
a-
in, like
maybe a
charging
drop-down
or being
might
in
be
an
there?
idle state.
Yeah.
You can directly interact with these items, turn them on and off, and in the future even switch their states. If you hover over a relay, that I will be hopefully doing soon.
Just gonna pause here real quick. As neat as this is, and as exciting as it is that engineering as a gameplay loop is coming to the game, like hopefully this is going to be one of those things within the 12-month window that they said that, you know, a lot of the stuff shown at CitizenCon will be released during. This particular gameplay right now looks so boring. Like, this does not look like it's for me at all.
Yeah.
And I know
I'm
it's
sure there's
early
some
work in
people-
progress, but
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people who are just love this kind of stuff, but not really. I don't want to spend a lot of time in like a UI screen, but maybe this is more just like you kind of pop in and pop out just to kind of like check the status of things. You're not like
right.
always in the UI or whatever, but yeah, I can imagine on something like an Idris, or even like I guess a Polaris is pretty close to an Idris size, but anything like close or like capital sized, an 890, like there's going to be a ton of relays, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, well, we can circle back to this point at the end, but it seems like this is going to make multi-crew gameplay on ships of like, you know, MSR size and larger very important.
right.
You'll see like a gameplay scenario played out here in a minute. And we'll talk about it after you see it, but I'm a little concerned.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit play again and then see how this plays out. But just specifically in the screen, like I can imagine wanting to look at this for longer than like, 30 seconds at a time. I don't know.
Right.
All right, here we go.
You will also see that the amount of fuses that are still active, and because a relay consists of several fuses, basically they're their own set of lives. And here you see all the details. And you can click on the items to see a 3D render of the power plant here, the control drive, sorry. And here's the relay overlay. Here Pete shoots a relay to show the UI updates on the screen. So once this relay got shot at, you will see the update here on the UI that suddenly the entire right-hand side of your ship lost power connection.
Okay, that's cool.
And what you might have not picked up on the screen is that actually the power plant here that I'm now focusing on is on low health. So I'm commanding Simon to repair the power plant to get it fully operational again.
Yeah, hopefully that part looks different eventually.
So, something to highlight here. Take a closer look at the doors. Since we also track the door states, you see that you can watch movement inside your ships now nicely. So you can
That
track
is really cool.
players moving around in your ship and even close doors for them, or like compartments in this case where Simon just forgot to close the compartment. So Pete destroyed the relay, but we need the ship in fully functional state. So I'm running now with a fuse and place it in the relay, so make the relay work again. What you can also do with the doors is that you can create safe pathways, because you sitting at this engineering screen have more information in regards to your ship than the others. So you open doors to create a path that the players on your ship have to take. Now to the room view. That is mainly the life support controls plus controlling all doors. Again, we show the details of each room, like the temperature, pressure, atmosphere composition, so everything that is relevant for like you living on a ship. We also show the door states where you can now have precise control over each door in your ship, as you see here. This will also allow you to have more control over which door or compartments to open. So here, again, showing opening the power plant. That also helps very much in already telling players, hey, you should repair this item, so I open that door for you, and they directly know which item you
All this
mean.
sounds like somebody
It also
on a
allows
large
us
ship
to
with a big
control,
crew is going
like,
to stay
the
locked into the
outside-facing
screen during
doors
combat.
much better. So you can directly open, if you just want to open the left side ramp or the front side facing ramp or the back facing ramp.
I can't wait for Matt to troll me and lock me in a room. I mean, all of that's super important for when the fire propagation comes in, being able to like vent certain rooms and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So we did it last year already, but let's make our crew suffocate again. So the moment that you basically pull off their helmets, and now me pressing the cycle button, you see that the entire atmosphere in this room is vented. And yeah, well, the consequence is death.
Yeah, death. Go.
So, as you can tell, engineering gameplay will bring a lot of changes. Some of those changes are adding batteries to ships that will allow you to get a little bit of extra power for a short amount of time. Allowing you to control items directly, where it's not only their on-off state, but also their resource consumption. And where the biggest change that will come in this update is basically to the resource consumption and generation. So let's talk about energy balance. Currently, ships are balanced such that they consume less energy than they produce. What I mean with that is that the sum of all items requires less energy than the power plant will provide. And this has to change. The energy rebalance that I will explain to you now will affect mainly bigger ships. Single-seaters will still behave like they do now. For big ships, we will focus on item groups. Those require energy, but your ships will not provide enough energy to have all components run at 100% all the time. Instead, you have to decide what you want to have permanently powered by your power plant. So managing decisions will have an impact now. You could decide, as in this example.
I'm struggling with I can see this from like a gameplay balance standpoint, them wanting to do that, but from an immersion game point, I'm wondering, why don't bigger ships in the verse have big enough batteries? Like, why is nobody manufacturing a larger battery for these ships?
Yeah.
You know,
Apart from like, I guess it's, yeah, I don't understand this part either. And they talk about the batteries here in a second, that you can kind of like, I guess, do different setups with and stuff. But I mean, I could understand like having a low power like power plant, like a grade C civilian, like it's not going to power everything. But if you have a grade A military component, like I feel like that should, you know, pretty much cover everything. But
right.
I don't really see where they're going with the like handicapping larger ships like this, especially already having to have more crew.
Yeah,
so,
it's just the part of me that is at least halfway paying attention to some semblance of lore in the PU, like all this great tech, and then you tell me like a capital ship can't be manufactured with efficient enough power plant to power everything. Like I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I could understand like having a worse power plant that can't do everything, but I feel like there should be certain components that you strive to get, or maybe you have to go to a certain engineer to like overclock one of your power plants or something to make it where it'll power everything. But I don't know.
Yeah. I would just think they would have some sort of proportionally sized plant, but anyway,
You would think so.
You know, this has to be for gameplay balance reasons, right? And I guess they're gonna
Right.
keep talking about that, but just, you know, thinking in the context of this high tech sci-fi world that they're building, it's like, okay, kind of a weird choice to make. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's see what else they have to say here.
Example, to shut down your thrusters to turn on the weapons. Isn't the best choice, since you will not be able to maneuver, so might not help when you are attacked. You would be able to shoot though. And here comes in the batteries. In scenarios where you need to react, you can activate the batteries and use the additional power. Batteries won't last forever, but you at least can power additional systems. You will be able to recharge the batteries again, but you need to free up energy from the power plant to direct into the batteries. I think that was a little bit more than just a recap, but now Guillermo will talk about malfunctions.
The battery, like they had me with the whole like 3 parts of engineering.
So I will talk
And,
about
like,
malfunctions real
the
quick.
relays and
That's the
everything,
next
but
video, since we're a bit behind schedule.
they're losing me on those batteries.
What are
I mean, so I guess the reason why they're doing it right is since for the really big ships, their power plants won't be able to handle everything at 100%. You supplement with the battery energy, right? But then you've got to manage when you're using that extra battery juice to power everything. I don't know if I have that right. Can somebody in the comments please
Right.
explain this? But it's I guess it's something to that effect though. Like the batteries for extra juice, right? So somebody's gonna have the exhilarating gameplay of deciding when a particular battery is going to be used. I don't know.
I'm sure it's something that you probably decide in that tuning phase of engineering.
Yeah.
Like before you leave the station, like, oh, I'm going to go do combat, so I better tune it for combat or whatever. But I'm assuming maybe that's part of also in that engineering UI that they just showed.
Right.
I don't know, it sounds like you can recharge them too, so it's not like, oh, you're out, you get attacked, you use them, and then you have to go back to recharge them. It sounds like your ship can recharge them over time. So it's like
if the power plant is allocating energy to that.
Right.
So like you might have to turn off the lights in the bathroom for a little while you recharge the batteries or something.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Anyway, also this poor guy. Didn't mean to pause him like that, but
doing them dirty.
Fires in the persistent universe for seals, for thrusters. You've seen a very basic version of it. We're making them more complex. We're making them more lethal in some ways and more fun to interact with. Also, some of the new malfunctions will include fire, spreading misfires that represent electrical surges going through the ship, or signature bursts, which increases your signature and makes you show up on enemy sensors more easily. As for how you will counter them, you've seen suffocating people with life support. You will also be able to suffocate the fire with life support, which is probably more useful. You will be repairing them, not necessarily only with a repair beam, but also replacing parts or some bespoke behavior per misfire. And if all else fails, just turn it off and on. And here's a video of the fire in action.
okay, here we go.
You've seen in other videos the fire. This is a small fire. You can just put it out with a fire extinguisher. Pretty simple. It just works.
Start a citizen. It just works.
Here's a bit of a bigger fire.
That's right.
It might be that you cannot only put it out on your own.
I'm going to be a fireman in the verse, and that's all I'm going to do. Put out fires.
So here we have one crew member
Start
that's
a fire
going to put it
department
out
to
with
work.
a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
To mixed results.
They give us a
Here
firefighting
we have
ship.
the option of using the life support system for some setup before, and yes, venting the area.
You listening, Chris? Get on that.
Oh, he's tuned in. Be like Chris Rubbers, everybody. Like and subscribe. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. We appreciate it.
And now you can see that the fire, once we get to that compartment, has been successfully put out.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so let's get Thorsten back on stage. You saw a lot of the systems in action, but let's get a video of one of our play sessions, which is going to probably show it a bit better.
So, yeah. I have to excuse myself already because I was leading this group of players being attacked by the Gladius, and I did a poor job, but more to that in that video. Yeah, Guillermo, I wanted to talk about...
So for this demo, we have modified the damage system slightly to represent impact penetration on a very basic level. So you are going to see that the quantum drive is going to be hit by the Gladius attacking the ship.
So, yeah, being attacked by a Gladius for an A2 isn't like a big challenge, but in this setup we were not like fully staffed. That means we had our engineers running around and yeah, no one being seated in the turrets. So, yeah, our goal was basically to flee the Gladius, and yeah, with the Gladius actually shooting the quantum drive and damaging it, I thought, hey, it's a good idea to tell Pete and Simon to repair the quantum drive as a priority. As you can see, I somehow missed that the habitation room caught fire. I tried to, yeah, well, prevent further damage to it, but yeah, I failed. Yeah, so that was causing a bit to the panic, so I even got distracted in this moment. So we managed to have the quantum drive survive.
I love how they're sharing all of this instead of just redoing the gameplay
the power
session.
plant also starts to take damage, and at this moment I'm also telling
hey, things will go wrong, right?
And Simon to switch their attention to the power plant, because if we lose the
I guess
power
in that
plant,
way it's good gameplay.
also like almost impossible to flee. So here I realized, oh my god, we are going down fast, and I think at this point now, yeah, I opened the compartment to make it access faster, but that was already too late, so the power plant died. And yeah, so the backup is to activate the batteries, which I did here. So Simon and Pete still tried their very best to fix it, but yeah, didn't manage to. Yeah, the attack moved to the forward side, targeting the batteries, because the player who was attacking us actually knew the ship layout. And yeah, here I noticed that the second power plant is also got attacked, so have to redirect our mechanics to it. And at this point we wanted to flee, and then I realized why doesn't the quantum drive work? And as you saw, that there is a relay that also got destroyed. So here you see it very clearly that with a relay being destroyed at the quantum drive position, that means that the quantum drive cannot be accessed from the pilot seat. That means that yeah, I also had to get that repaired. So it was a bit chaotic. Everything was also happening a bit too fast. Here, trying to save the second power plant, because were already running out of battery life. So yeah, if we would have lost the second power plant, that would have been our certain death. And I think at in the next part of the video, we basically asked someone to fix the relay at the back so that we still be able to jump away. Yeah, so we at least managed to save one of the power plants.
I'm dying inside right now. I'm not the player for this.
That's now. I think it was Pete running there and fixing the fuse. And the next step was the pilot trying to push the quantum drive, but it was too late. We died. And the end of the show. Yeah, thanks.
Lost connection.
Oh,
So what you
the
just
YouTube
saw
thing.
gives a good idea of how busy ships will be and what meaningful multi-crew gameplay will look like. But what about the future? Since we worked on technology that will be used throughout the entire game, you will see more and more coming utilizing this
it load
tech.
back up for you.
It will introduce systemic gameplay with allowing players to come up with creative ways of manipulating their environments. Sabotaging a power plant or destroying a vital relay that connects it all to shut down an entire enemy base that can include its life support or security systems. It would also tie in nicely with Maelstrom that you just saw, and anything that will break off will lose its connection to the network and therefore have an impact on its functionality. So it's a real systemic feature. The technology allows us also to take further steps into the crafting profession as well as in the base building, where both are related to each other.
I know you love
Bases built
crafting.
by player will also form resource networks and come with their unique challenges similar to ships. We are all really excited about the future of this tech and all the associated features. So there's a huge thanks for all people involved. So thanks to the entire EUPU team, the vehicle teams, Jared, active feature team, and the Arena Commander team. They all were super supportive to get this behemoth into a state that you could see here. And it's something that has been a long time coming, and we are really proud of it. So thank you for sticking with us on this journey. Wait, there's one more thing. So we really want to get your hands, we really want you to get your hands on this because we already had a lot of fun with it. I hope all of you have heard of the experimental mode in the Arena Commander. So we want to bring you what you saw here as an experimental mode before we put everything into the PU.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
That'll be cool.
surprise.
And this will be soon. So
TM.
thank you.
All right, so engineering, huh?
Yeah. Engineering.
So I'm glad it's coming to the game. Personally, it didn't look super engaging, but I guess maybe if you keep in mind that we were just watching part of a fight play out versus actually being in the middle of one, maybe there's a little bit more adrenaline to shooting a beam at a component during a dogfight.
Yeah.
Actually in the moment, but it doesn't translate well to me, like just watching it. And I know that's the case with, other elements of the game too. And a lot of games just in general, it's more fun to actually do for yourself than watch. But man, it looked like a lot of looking at a screen and a lot of looking at components, shooting your beam at it. And I don't know, like,
so
doing that full time as like your chosen gameplay loop, like I can see it. If you're doing it in an emergency situation, it's like, oh shit, somebody's got to put out that fire back there. But I don't know.
So that was a C2. That's what, a 2-man crew?
I believe so.
And they had 3 engineers there.
Yeah.
2 repairing and 1 watching the screen, right? So does that mean you're going to have 3 engineers on your C2 every time you go out? They did say right before they started they had simulated like bullet penetration or something like that. So maybe maybe the damage from the Gladius was a little over exaggerated. I hope so anyway. But for a Gladius to be able to pick apart a C2 like that, just like, oh, I'm going to hit the power plants, and oh, I'm going to hit this battery over here, and then oh, I'm going to circle to the other side and hit the other power plant. So to me, that's concerning. Like, obviously, I want multi-crew and engineering gameplay, but I don't want it to be to a point to where a Gladius can just shut down an entire C2 crew like that. Which, like I said, maybe that was just for the presentation. Maybe they upped the damage for it or something. But they had the first power plant damaged, which they had 2 people repairing. They had a fire in the habitation. They had a relay go out. They had the batteries attacked. They had the second power plant go out. And that's just what I'm remembering off the top of my head. So that's 5 things that Gladius was able to do to disable that ship. Pretty easily, it looked like, in that demonstration.
Maybe they were just being attacked by Moist Noodle. You know what I mean?
Which, yeah, I mean,
like a talented enough pilot could do some damage to a C2 in a Gladius, but it would take a while, I would think.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that, but like, it just seemed like they shot like right through to the power plant, and maybe the shields weren't activated, or maybe it was supposed to be ballistic ammo that was penetrating through the hull. I don't know, but it's just a little concerning at how much is involved for even such a small multi-crew ship.
Right. I would imagine they were being a little extra with the number of engineers
I would hope
needed,
so.
just for, showcasing purposes. But yeah, because that would be kind of wild to think that, like, the norm for the game, like, if you want to make sure that you're going to be all right out there, you're just running a 2-person ship or a 3-person ship, as the game currently is, but then suddenly you basically need to double or more the size of the overall crew for engineering purposes. Like, I feel like that's not going to be the case, but who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I guess we'll see it in the experimental mode.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon, and get to mess around with it some. But I mean, if it's just like a C2, if one engineer can handle the C2 while it's being attacked, like, that's fine. Maybe even if a fire breaks out, like the second crew member has to break off and go put out a fire, or while the engineer's running to the power plant to repair it, the co-pilot has to jump off out of the co-pilot seat and onto the engineering screen to, like, put a fire out or something. Like, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I just don't want it to be like as involved as it seemed to be in that playthrough, that scenario they played out.
Right. And again,
excited.
I don't.
Go ahead. Okay, I am excited about how it's going to be used on things other than ships, for like missions, and like how they were telling you could, like, shut off life support for an outpost or whatever. And
yes, yeah, all that sounds cool for sure.
Or if there's like if you're like a new player and you need some quick credits and you're on a space station and one of their backup batteries goes out, that's powering their noodle bar or whatever. You got to go down through the maintenance shaft and go switch out the batteries or something. Maybe something like that's kind of cool. We'll see how they add it to the environment and stuff, but there's a lot to it.
Don't get me wrong, like, it doesn't look like super, from what they showed, it didn't look like super engaging gameplay, but I am still happy it's being added to the game for a few reasons. One, because it's going to affect a bunch of other systems, right? Like we were just talking about.
Right.
And 2, I mean, maybe some people watched that. I've not gone through the comment section of the panel video, but maybe some people watched it as like, yeah, I can get down with some engineering after seeing that, you know.
Oh,
And I'm
I
just
have
not the kind
no
of
doubt.
player.
I have no doubt somebody is overly excited about that UI screen and they want to stare at it all day and make sure everything's perfect with the ship. And I bet you'll have people that just like sit at stations and tune people's ships for them before they go out doing stuff, or
Yeah.
maybe tune and repair before they go out if they don't have an engineer on their ship or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's a
And
lot of
I like,
opportunities for gameplay there.
I like the idea too of, you know, being able to make some light repairs myself. Say we're running some bunkers or whatever out of my cuddy red, right? And we take some fire from some turrets or whatever. You know, once the turret's been handled and once the bunker's been cleared on the other side of things, you know, patch up your ship a little bit and then, you know, take off and go on to the next mission.
Yeah.
Like that to me sounds interesting, and it adds a little bit more dimension to the game. But as far as like that being my full-time gameplay loop or main gameplay loop, you know, we'll see how it shapes up as it gets closer to ready for release. But based off of that, that and the star hair and the star cloth might be the most boring things I've seen from CitizenCon so far. Sorry, CIG.
Yeah.
I'm just everybody comes to this game for different reasons, and I'll just it's fine. It's fine. It's just not for me.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be cool to see what you can like do with it and how you tune different ships. And I'm also interested to see how they do it with like medium, like 2-person cruise ships, like the Cutlass Red you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, will those size ships have its own engineering panel like the C2 does, or will you access that through the co-pilot seat? Lots of questions. After watching that, I honestly have more questions than when I did going into it. But
I mean, hey man, we've been talking for years at this point about, you know, multi-crew gameplay coming soon, and you know, wonder what the co-pilot's going to be doing in that seat over there. And it turns out, after all this time, they're going to be staring at that fucking screen. That's all they're going to be doing.
oh, hopefully not. But
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I think it'll be all right. I don't think it's going to be like a required thing for everybody to do, and I'm sure there's going to be more than enough people wanting to do that kind of gameplay where you can recruit them to your crew, or you know, have them fix your ship before you go out, or whatever.
I'm very positive you're going to see once engineering hits the game, you're going to see people in server chat, you know, advertising services or just freely volunteering to join somebody's crew to be an engineer on board. But you know, again, it's going to add more dimensions to the game though, and that I do like. You know, combat is going to be a bit more dynamic now. And you know, it'll be interesting to see exactly how the managing of power that they talked about with capital ships is going to play out in those larger like fleet battles as well. You know, imagine being the captain of an Idris, right, and having to make that call of, you know, hey, shields are getting real low, right? We're taking a lot of damage. We need to get out of here. We need more power to engines or whatever. What are we going to draw that power from? Is it going to come from weapons? Because we're already getting, you know, pretty beat up out here, and now we're going to be able to hold off people even less. You know, or does that energy come from somewhere else, right? Like those sort of like in the moment decisions that you're going to have to make pretty quickly. That all sounds fun. Just pointing a multi-tool to component and seeing the beam come out doesn't. But that's hey, it's all connected together, right? So there's some really exciting parts and then some that are just for somebody else.
Yeah, I'd really be interested for anybody watching if you have like concerns about kind of how like I have about the multi-crew system being a little like overly, I'm not going to call it overly complicated, but just requiring too much crew for, what needs to be done. But or tell us what you like about it. Maybe some people are really, really excited to stare at that engineering screen all day, but we'll see.
Yeah, let's try to get the temperature check. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on engineering gameplay, and if you're looking forward to it or not, and for what reasons. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to another CommLink Reacts video. And thanks again to everybody that's already subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so, and you enjoyed the video, please go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe so that you get notifications for our upcoming reaction videos and podcast episodes.
Yeah, and if you made it this far, we're about to do a whole podcast episode on the day 1 of CitizenCon. We'll probably hit this a little bit again in that video, but yeah, check that out too.
Yeah, lots to talk about for both days of CitizenCon. So you'll get part 1, day 1 this week, and then next week's podcast episode will be on day 2. So looking forward to it. Silvius, appreciate you being here for another reaction. And thanks again to everybody for watching.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Be safe.